ほ 100 years after Link's been sleeping?
Yeah, you don't. Link has been sleeping for 100 years. You right now are here. This is the very beginning of the game. You essentially just wake up. There's a voice actually, so it's a voiceover right now. Someone is actually speaking. You don't know whose voice this is.
We do we not know who
We
this
do
voice?
not know whose voice it is.
Is
a
it Zelda?
mysterious voice. It is a mysterious voice. Mr. Arnuma has not given us any tips on what that is yet. I'm sure people will be speculating like crazy, and we'll have to wait and discover what that's going to be.
How does he not like completely wrinkled right now? Because like if you take a bath for 20 minutes,
Well, it might not be water. It could be some other kind of special Hyrulean.
So we do a mysterious voice and a mysterious liquid.
Mysterious liquid.
This is what we know so far.
And waking up right now, and here you are. And now you have the mysterious Sheikah slate that appears right here in front of you. This is an important tool you'll have to use that is how you're able to open certain doors, use access runes, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Yep.
And even as a map, and even just scan different enemies as well to how to mark them and how much energy they have. So you kind of go through that.
So this is kind of like his tablet, right?
It's a Sheikah slate.
It's a Sheikah slate, yeah.
I got to stick with the terms. It's
not an iPad. It's a Sheikah slate. They won't put out a new one every year.
They won't.
And so the interesting thing about this game is that you start as Link.
Yeah.
We're calling him Link, right?
Yes, his name is Link. This is Link. The voice does call you out as Link.
Okay, and it is a him.
Yes.
Yes, we do know that. That's a few things we can confirm here.
And he has no clothes on. He hurt his foot.
So, I mean, immediately when we saw this game, we realized that he wasn't wearing his sort of classic tunic, but that could obviously come into play later on because there are a lot of different clothing options in this game.
Yeah, no, even in the trailer you saw, if you saw the trailer, at some point you saw him with armor or some kind of armor on, and that's part of the joy of just discovering all these different things that Link will be able to equip himself with. That's a really important thing that Anuma talked about, is being prepared for your journey, because certain areas you'll be exploring in the game might be too difficult, might be too hard, so you have to kind of keep worrying about how that's going to play out.
Now, we're to assume that this fits somewhere in the Legend of Zelda timeline?
Yes, Mr. Arnuma did say this does fit in the timeline, but we have no information about that yet, exactly where it falls.
That crazy plate of spaghetti.
Yeah, yes. It's all worked out somehow, but all these pieces do together. So this does, everything you know Mr. Arnuma does has always fallen somewhere in the timeline.
Yes. So now, we do learn later on in this demo that Ganon, in some form, does exist in this world.
Calamity Ganon.
Calamity Ganon, which is sort of lost smoke monster-esque.
Yes, we get to the Resurrection Town in a little bit. We'll see that effect. But yeah, that's something you discover, because first you can just talk to that guy right down there, the old man. Which
I really love, because as a guy who grew up playing the original Legend of Zelda, to the point where my mom was like, please turn that down. So all we heard was the theme song out of my living room. There was a couple of, there was that old man character you found in dungeons. You found him, the
guy who gives you the sword.
Yeah, he gives you the sword. He's the first guy, which is incredibly irresponsible of a man to do, but still. And here we have him again, and you kind of return the favor by rolling up and stealing his food.
Yeah, you do roll up here, and you take his baked apple right now, which Link has just done, and he actually does not exactly appreciate you just taking something from him.
Okay, now I have two theories here, and you can either confirm or deny or just wave and smile. Is this a character is this the king from the Wind Waker? No comment. Is this a previous Link from an old game who is now 100 years old because time is crazy in Hyrule Town? Smile and no comment again.
Smile and nod.
All right, whatever. I'm planting those seeds. Those are my beliefs. So let me know what you think.
I'm sure there'll be lots of people making speculation of what it's going to be, and that's good. I also enjoy that build-up that people have speculating going through the game, trying to debate who is this person really. Should you even trust him?
Yeah,
it's like there's no reason this guy's just here. Like, why should he help you, not help you?
Yeah, we're here to automatically assume he's a good dude, but I mean he could be out to just send you over in Calamity Ganon's smoke mouth.
Yes,
that weird floating pig monster. So one of the things I really like about this game is that there are ruins everywhere, which sort of implies that there was a civilization here of some sorts. But are we to understand that there will eventually be towns and areas populated?
Yes. Mr. Arnuma did talk about that. That yes, what we're seeing right now here is basically less than 2% of the what we're on the plateau we're on to start the game. Less than 2% of the entire game.
Wow.
There's over 100 shrines of trials. It's a massive world. There will be stuff populated around the world, towns and whatnot, NPCs. But we haven't talked about those yet.
Sure.
That's going to come out later on as we get eventually to the release in 2017.
Are they human-esque? No comment.
No comment. Well, so far you've seen one human-esque character so far.
That's true.
And actually two. There's the old man and the bokoblins.
Yeah. Are we calling them human-esque?
Really? Kind of. I don't. Well, maybe.
You haven't seen a lot of people.
I'm here at E3. You never know what you see here at E3 with a lot of different kind of characters.
It's true. But I really do like that sort of ravaged civilization look that a lot of this game has. And there's this sort of inherent kind of loneliness to this game. And I mean that in the most positive way of like you have this lone adventurer in this kind of desolate world, and he's out there. There's a lot of survival elements. You don't really seem like you get a ton of help from people. Like, you're freezing, you're cold, you're hungry, you're
that's you have to constantly be foraging. That's why you grab stealing the old man's baked apple. Since there is no cutting of grass to get hearts anymore in this one, it is more about that foraging concept and what you can gather and grab. Oh, as you can see, there we are cutting some grass. Nothing.
You can, but you don't, like we saw in the demo, you don't see rupees popping out like crazy.
No. And that still hasn't been discovered yet. I know people were asking what kind of currencies in the game, and that hasn't been shown yet either. We're still right now here just on the grand
I think you
plateau.
just keep stealing that dude's apples.
Yes, you can keep more apple, or you can go to you can climb the trees as well. There's that whole climb mechanic now where you can now jump, which is a big thing to the Zelda series, which has not been done before.
Yeah, which is like it's so fascinating. We got to a point in video game history where someone's like, "You can jump now," and we're all like, "Yeah!"
And it's important. And right here, Link is now using the Sheikah Slate to mark a point on the map. So now, by looking up, you'll be able to easily go to where you want to follow where you want to go to.
Now, this is the kind of game you can pretty much play. I mean, it's so open world to the point where you see something in the distance and you can run to it and climb it.
Yes.
So will this inspire multiple playthroughs or different types of playthroughs? Are there ways to finish this game faster by completely skipping entire sections?
I'm sure people are going to try to figure out ways to do it. 'Cause, I mean, I said there's over 100 shrines of trials. The 4 shrines you have here in this demo are ways that you get certain runes. But then with over 100, that means, well, some shrines might not have any use to you, might just be a cool treasure. We don't know yet, so we have to kind of figure out what that's going to be exactly. And I'm sure speedrunners are going to try to figure out which ones you really have to go to finish the game. I'm sure that's going to be that whole meta that people start going into, trying to find different ways to play it.
Because you never really know the importance of a shrine until you're inside it, basically, right? It reminds me a lot of Ocarina of Time had the marks in the ground. Your rumble pack would go off, you'd blow it up, and you'd go down there. And some of them were a treasure chest with just a little thing. Some of them had like a skulltula, and some of them got a little more crazier than that. So I guess my question is, what sort of scale do these shrines vary on? I mean, some of them are very small, but do any of them get like sort of to Zelda dungeon temple-esque size?
So yeah, so there are the over 100 shrines and trials. They will vary in size, big and small. Some will have only one solution. Some could have multiple solutions. And then at the same time, there also, Mr. Numa did talk that there will be formal dungeons.
Yeah.
Separate from the shrines.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so he did say there will be separate. We have no details on what those dungeons will exactly be, but he did say they do exist, and they are different than the Shrines of Trials.
Awesome, because I think a lot of people got worried when they heard about the shrines because they thought it was like, it's like 100's a big number, but having 100 small things is sometimes not as great as having like 10 or 12 pretty big ones as well. But it sounds like we're going to get both, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's why they're still working on the game.
Yep. Now, there's a lot of like sort of history in this world that it seems like you're kind of bringing back to life. Like you're lighting things up again, and you're starting
right here,
to
like right now.
Yeah,
like right here, right now, you're bringing up the resurrection tower.
Yeah.
One resurrection tower right here. You're bringing up a resurrection tower, and you're going to see right now this one tower that you're sitting on is going up. What we're going to notice right now is that other towers will be appearing over this whole land.
Sure.
So right here's on the plateau that you're on. Here's one resurrection tower. And then now there's one in this area. Now you have to figure out how are you going to get there.
And so what is the sort of narrative benefit of lighting up these towers?
So you usually can mark them as points so you can actually fast travel.
Oh, cool.
So even when you're going around to the Shrines of Trials as well, even if you don't think you can go in to marked, you can fast travel to it without having to trek all the way back to it. But sometimes, actually, at the same time, I've had a lot of fun just doing the trekking because you never know. I've literally watched people play the demo. I've played a lot of it. And I'm watching people play now in the booth. I'm like, oh, how did that person... I'm seeing things I haven't quite discovered myself.
So I played this game yesterday. I played both sides of the demo, which are, 2 20-minute chunks, and a bunch of us here at IGN did as well. And that's been the really fascinating thing, is coming back and talking to everybody and realizing that every single person has experienced just this small portion of the game in a different way. And it makes the wait for this game next year incredibly difficult because I know that not only, like when I come to E3, I play a demo, usually I see the whole thing, but I haven't seen even a fraction of this, and I have to wait so long to see the rest.
That's fine, but it's good. It's like a present. You have to kind of slowly wait, get the build up for it. It makes you appreciate it even that much more.
Yeah, but no, okay.
Like,
Usually,
like Christmas. No, Christmas. You have to wait till Christmas to get your present for Christmas. You can't just get it early unless you sneak in and find it in your parents'
the
closet.
difference is I know exactly when Christmas is.
That's it's 2017. That's
When is Breath of the Wild Christmas?
Sometime in 2017.
See? No one ever says Christmas is sometime in 2017. They go, it's December 25th. I know exactly when I'm opening my present. It makes it easier to swallow. So here we got this.
This is Calamity Ganon at the castle. Yes.
So he's in this right here. He's obviously taken this form. Sort of led to believe that it looks like he will be able to take several forms, which I think has been sort of historically true for Ganon at least.
Yes, in the previous games he has had various forms, and we'll have to wait and discover what kind of forms Mr. Aonuma is going to create for Ganon. If it's one, will it be multiple? We don't really know yet, so it's going to be kind of intriguing to see how that plays out. And what other new characters he might be introducing as well? Who knows?
What's his or her name? Christmas is so far away.
It's true.
But yeah, this is I could not stop thinking about this game last night because I feel like it's so different from anything that I've ever played from a Zelda game, and B, so different than pretty much anything else at E3. Side note, I ran right off of this tower.
Oh, you died?
It is not pretty.
There's actually multiple ways. If you pay attention right now what Link is doing, you actually could walk around in a certain method, and actually all the little platforms actually go around and around. You can.
Yeah, so I rolled clearly off the top, and then I did this hard land and just collapsed, like I folded. It was very sad to see. And I felt really bad for this guy because he had just woken up in the world, put on his first pair of clothes, climbed up the tower, and then just
dropped into the bottom.
Yeah. But this is a harsh world.
Yes.
And I think that's something that really we need to kind of depict here is that so much in this world will destroy you. Your weapons degrade.
Yes, the durability.
Your health it's not as simple as just finding hearts anymore.
Correct. You have to actually be prepared for your journey, debate which weapons you want to use, which I actually also personally like for myself is that a lot of times I know when I play certain games, you get a weapon. Oh, this is the best weapon. I'm never going to use another one again.
Right.
Now you're like, well, here's this one. Well, it's gone. Here's one, and it now forces you to better experiment because all the weapons have little different movements and how they apply.
Now, can you ever get to the point where you can fortify a weapon, sort of like to permanence?
We're not sure yet, so that's what we're waiting to find out. So I know people are asking about that.
Because I don't want to be in a boss fight and everything breaks and I'm stuck in a room and I'm like, well, this guy's got to kill me now. Although maybe that's part of the challenge. I mean, I guess it remains to be seen. I think I'm so used to, in Zelda games, being like, I got my trusty sword, I get to hold on to it forever. But with that sword breaking, which it did for me in this demo, it gave me an excuse to start trying different weapons.
Which normally you might not do.
Yeah, which normally you might not do. A lot of people, it gets you out of your comfort zone, right? And I was having combat scenarios. Side note, the bow and arrow is awesome.
Did you get a chance to jump off something and use it?
Yeah.
That slow motion time?
It feels so great when there's an enemy running at you. You kind of pull back. You kick in that little bit of motion control, which was very subtle on the Wii U gamepad, which I absolutely love using.
It's like Splatoon. Splatoon has that similar subtlety.
If you've been playing Nintendo games for a while now on the Wii U, you're probably used to motion controls like that. Wind Waker had some of it as well. I really love that. So I was using a combination between that and then beating up enemies. They would drop an item, and I'd pick it up, and I'd use it to knock down the next enemy, who would then drop an item, and I'd pick that up, which is a very different flow of combat than pretty much any other Zelda game ever made.
Yes, it's a very different flow that goes on in there, and then even how those elements play. Like at one point, we were fighting you're fighting a bokoblins and an encampment that have spears. One of the bokoblins actually ran to the fire, lit his spear on fire, and then came with a flaming spear. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, and it's something you've never really seen before, and you can take that spear from him and beat up his friend in front of him.
And that's true. Yeah, when you're fighting in combat, so often when you're fighting, especially enemies that are more powerful, sometimes you'll start fighting them. They'll drop their sword, and what smart to do is like run up and pick it up. Now, now that enemy has to go grab a rock. Now he has nothing else to fight with.
Which kind of comes to my next question: Is Link a menace in this game? Because he shows up, he's pushing boulders down the hills, he's stealing apples from old men, he's chopping down trees and burning foliage. He's running up on the bad guys and just straight up stealing their steak. Like they're at a barbecue party, they're dancing in front of it, and he's like, no, that's mine.
Well, he's hungry. He's foraging. You have to survive.
But this guy just woke up from like 100-year slumber. I know he's hungry, but he's like really just messing with everybody.
Well, it's similar to the previous games too. Like you get to walk into people's houses and just break all the pots.
I know, and that was like that was a fraction of how menacing he is in this game to the general public. I think he's the bad guy. That's my theory.
And I'm sure from people's perspectives, you could argue that he is the bad guy.
It's true. It's true.
But no, he's the hero. Come on, Link has always been the great hero.
Which is really cool, and I think it's like what's going to be fascinating about this.
Claiming again,
which is good though, because when you don't have that much conflict yet, it gives you plenty of time to be an absolute menace to the rest of the world. Now, here we're seeing one of the shrines, which is a little more sort of drawn out and bigger than some of the smaller ones in the game.
Yeah.
This feels more dungeon-esque.
It can,
like it's actually got a distinct item that you pick up in it.
Correct, and the four shrines we have in the demo right now do give you a different rune. This one being you learn magnesis, which is the ability to move objects that have some kind of magnetic properties to them.
And we do learn right there that his Sheikah stone has a waterproof case on it.
Well, again, is it water? We had that discussion before. We don't
even know if it's water. I love this. This is my favorite part of this time in the Zelda cycle, because it's so much speculation, so much joy, and just it basically gets crazy.
Yes.
It gets crazy just how much thinking we do. So now we've got this new item, which is we've never really seen anything like this in Zelda.
This is new, and what's even fun, I know you can move objects here right now. As you can move it up and down, you can create bridges out of them.
Yep.
There's actually an arrow. We actually showed yesterday here. The fire and ice arrow was on this treasure chest. You had to get a plank and move it there and make a bridge to get over to it without falling off.
Right, which is another thing I'm hearing from people at this E3 demo. They're like, "Did you get the fire wand?" I'm like, "What?"
The fire rod, yeah.
The fire. I'm like, "That's in there too."
There's a fire rod in there. If you're in that, if you head westward from the beginning of this demo, you'll walk by a rock monster called Steptalis, and then you'll eventually get to the fire rod.
Now, I've been a fan of Zelda my whole life, as I said earlier. One of my favorite things about Zelda was always the concept art surrounding the original. Those beautiful watercolor paintings. And it feels like that's actually become a part of the design element of this game.
This one particularly, this one has a very artistic feel to it, very much based on Japanese animation from the past, gouache animation style. And a lot of based on, I believe, an open air type of painting where you actually look at a scene and try to capture that moment in a French art style, and capture that moment in a painting, and that's kind of what this is trying to attract, which fits perfectly in this world of being such an open place to explore. And here you have to get different puzzle items. Like right there, Link used a metal box to defeat an enemy by putting over its head, just dropping it on its head. Now we're getting this extra treasure chest that's on the side.
And now these are the kind of things where you can go into this shrine, get this item, go out into the big world, and start interacting with stuff that you couldn't get originally.
Correct, and that's you don't know.
So there will be people who play this game and maybe even finish it without finding tons of stuff in it.
Possibly, yeah. Again, that's what Mr. Anuma's talked about, is that there is not, everyone can have their own path to go through the game. There's no one set way to do it.
So now what are we looking at here?
So this is the end of the shrine, and you're actually meeting this monk. And the name of the monk actually is the same name as the shrine of trial you walked into for this particular shrine right here. And that you're basically proving that you are worthy of this shrine. And that's why this monk is congratulating you and rewarding you with a spirit orb.
Which does what? We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know. Which we won't go into yet. Ah, perfect. So what we're showing off right now is called a rune.
A rune?
Runes. This is one of the powers you have in the game. Yeah. And so instead of actually she has remote bombs, and what she was just using right now is something called magnesis, which is the ability to use a magnet to control different items that have metallic properties in them. So now she's found this plank in this other pawn, and now she's bringing it over to make a bridge to get to those treasure chests we just saw over there a minute ago.
And this is all she's not being prompted to do this. She's just sort of discovering this as she explores the environment.
And there's no prompting. It's all kind of there's a little bit of prompts to help you out in some things. And normally you would actually earn this rune by going into the Shrine of Trials. So that's that shrine side. There's over 100 of them. In this demo, there are 4 you can experience. And the shrine basically is a way, going through that Shrine of Trial, you can get a different rune. Like the remote bomb she has is from one shrine, magnesis is from another shrine, and now she's made a bridge, cautiously not falling off.
What are we going to find in these treasure chests?
That you don't know until she opens them.
It seems like you've added a loot system to Zelda. Is that accurate?
You mean
finding loot?
Oh yeah, a looting system. Yeah, you'll be discovering things as you explore it, and some things you might. And that's one thing that makes the game really great, is that anything you see you can kind of go to, and that's part of the joy of it, is that puzzle of trying to figure out how just to get to that next point.
Man.
So she did find 2 arrows, a fire arrow and an ice arrow, and we'll show those off in just a minute. Now she's gonna keep exploring.
So the little green gauge above his head, is that like an energy meter?
Stamina. Stamina meter, which is important for running around, for climbing, which we've shown a little bit so far. We'll get to that. She'll climb up here, hopefully, as she gathers more items. So you have to always be conscious of how much stamina you have, because if you actually use up all of the stamina, you take a couple seconds to recover, and you'll be moving slower. Yeah. You have to get around that. So here, Sarah's going to do a little bit of climbing real quick. So if you look over, Sarah, you look over to the left for a second, Sarah? So that's the whole world you can see over there. Yeah. You can't get to there yet. You're kind of stuck on this plateau right now to learn about the game for right now. And that's what's also really cool. It's this beautiful world, but there's all these things you're going to find. There's all these ruins, and you're wondering why that is, and that's something you'll have to discover as you play the game further.
If stamina runs out while you're climbing, do you just fall?
You'll fall.
Okay.
So you have to be careful of that, too. So she had to wait a minute for her stamina to come back to do that.
So let's talk a little bit more about what we're seeing on screen. Yeah. We have the familiar hearts in the upper left corner.
Yes, the upper left corner of the hearts.
And then below that, is it what your items you have equipped?
Right, so right now she has the round, she has a shield, a sword, and the upper one you see that little magnet, that's the magnesis.
Okay.
So right here she's discovered a camp of bokoblins. And she's going to do using the Sheikah slate, which is a tool that Link has to kind of explore and actually even see how much energy each of these bokoblins have. And it'll stay marked over their head so you know how much damage you need to cause them. So she's going to keep sneaking around, hopefully not get spied.
All right, so a creature that's like 13-13, do you have to hit him 13 times?
No, that's how many hit points he has.
Right.
And when you have weapons, which if you bring up the weapon screen for a second, Sarah.
She might, I don't know how well.
She can see it. So she'll go to the weapon screen. There's those numbers underneath of them. That's how much damage that weapon will do when you use it.
Very cool.
So right now she's actually bringing on the fire arrow. And actually, that bokoblin up there in the tower, if he sees you, he'll actually warn all the others. And now these guys are kind of curious what's going on. Now she's using another rune. You can switch runes real quickly. She's now throwing a remote bomb. Hopefully, they're not curious. Oh, couldn't quite hit him. I think she'll have to jump down and take him out. She's switching arrows. And what's really cool she just did there, by jumping off a higher point, you get that kind of slow motion.
Yeah. And that's just when you're like jumping off of something?
Jumping off stuff and then bringing out the bow and arrow. It slows down everything.
Well, speaking of jumping,
there is a jump button now.
You can jump.
Yes, you can jump. Sarah, at any moment in time, could jump right now if she wanted to. Yep. Which is important for climbing. That's the whole point that the jumping is there, so that way people could jump onto the wall to start doing climbing. And what she's done here right now is by defeating all the bokoblins in the camp, she's able to now open this treasure chest. And now now she was using a normal sword before, but now she has a new sword, which now has 10. So that's how much damage it causes.
And then what do you do with your older equipment?
You can carry, I believe, carry a certain number of weapons you can carry. I believe there's 8 slots. And you have to be careful because once you fill up those slots, you have to drop weapons instead to do that.
Okay.
So, and it's important. And the whole point is that as you use your weapons, they will actually, the durability. They'll actually you have to throw them away over time. Oh, but actually, so right now she's actually showing up some cooking.
Great.
From some of the stuff she's gathering. So you can eat the cooking items raw. But what she's done here is actually taken 2 items and combined them. So now instead of getting only like 2 hearts, she now gets multiple hearts.
Nice.
But what's cool though is if you experiment with all of this, it's not just hearts. Sometimes you get special bonuses on top of that as well, which he's doing right now.
You have to find like a campfire like this, or a campfire, a stove, an oven.
Yeah, the camp. You have to find these camping things. You have to make sure there's fire underneath it to make it happen as well. But she actually, wow. She made a hearty steamed meat, and now she has a ton of extra hearts that are yellow. Yellow hearts are basically, they're not permanent.
Okay.
So if she gets hit, they'll disappear forever. She can't replenish those. So the cooking is a really important factor, and you have to experiment with the cooking to either discover what are the best recipes to have. You can make different kinds of food. Then also, if you actually combine insects and monster parts, you can make elixirs, which give you other properties. Like could be like you can run faster for 10 minutes. You can cold resistance. Things along those lines.
Is cooking all experimental, or will you find recipes?
It's experimental. Right now, all we've shown you have to experiment. So that's part of the discovery process, and I'm sure people will find ways to list out the best recipes when the game finally comes out.
So what do we see in the distance here? Is this going to be a town?
So right now, you're on the plateau. Right now, you haven't experienced any towns yet on the Great Plateau. These are just another encampment. So you can see there's a bokoblin up top there on the tower. And what Sarah's trying to do right now is sneak around because there is something inside that cave. So she's trying to quietly sneak around and take out that bokoblin on the tower to avoid warning the others. What's really cool too, if you do when you're using these arrows, if you actually hit people in the head, it gets crit. You can actually cause more damage. So what she's doing here is actually dropping.
Whoa.
There are a bunch of explosive barrels inside, so there's always different ways to experiment with how you go into each area. So she actually took out all the other bokoblins, but there is one other left in there. A blue bokoblin was a lot more energy, and now is relatively angry that you've taken out his enemies. And now she's using a different weapon. Oh, she picked up a new weapon, but she's going to keep using the claymore.
Yeah, so I like how the different weapons actually appear different.
Yes, the different weapons do have different styles. Yeah. And actually, while using that weapon, the claymore, you know she was using 2 hands, so she can't use her shield.
Okay.
So that's you're taking trade-offs to that. And what's really cool, you saw her doing that spin move.
Yeah.
She was basically holding down the attack button, so you actually have charge attacks like like Link has been known to have in the past. So here she found a treasure chest of, I think, more arrows, which is helpful to have. What's cool, too, is as you shoot your arrows, you can often recover some of them.
Okay,
So you have to always be managing all of that as you go through it.
So what do we know about Hyrule as of right now? It's sort of in a ruined state, is that right?
Well, we haven't given any details on that yet.
Right,
okay. So basically all we're sharing is this part to share the experience of it. So it's a world that you don't know what's going on here yet. So you're just trying to learn and discover what's going on, what it is, what's going on, why is it in ruins. Like right here's a ruined area, and you might recognize these are the Guardians that were in the original trailer shown last year. But now they're all damaged, and you don't know why. So again, it's that sense of discovery. You don't know what's going on in this world right now. The only story element you know so far is that you woke it up. And actually one of the Guardians is still alive. And these guys are really powerful right now. It's going to be really hard to scan them, but I do know they have about 500 or 1,000 hit points. And you don't have the weaponry to take these guys out. So Sarah's probably going to run away from these guys to avoid getting attacked as best as possible. And what she's using there is audio cues at the same time to determine, like, because if you run the whole time, your stamina will run out before the laser fires. So you're constantly learning how to go through all of this.
Tell me about the bottom right corner.
Bottom right corner, yes.
Is that how much noise you're making?
Yes, that is how much noise you are making. That purple meter you see popping up, and now when she crouched down, now she's sneaking.
So that's important for enemies around you?
You can sneak up on, when enemies are not paying attention, you can sneak up behind them and actually cause more damage to take them out from behind, things along those lines as well.
And what's the icon right above that?
Right, that's a temperature gauge.
Okay.
So there in this particular demo, there is over Mount Helia, there's a cold. And as you go up to there, the gauge will start going, as it gets colder, that's basically when it hits that, where the blue or the red is, red being heat, blue being cold. When the meter actually gets there, that means that Link is now freezing, and he's going to start taking damage. But you actually you can eat certain items to help you have cold resistance, so that blue part will go lower. Or you can put on a different tunic, perhaps. And actually, speaking of sneaking, right now she is sneaking around. But instead of just taking the bokoblins out directly, she's actually woken up these bees. And now the bees are taking out the enemies as the bokoblins have to now run away.
When she brought up the aiming reticle, there was a number by it. Is that how many arrows you have?
That's how many arrows she currently has left. And the physics do matter as well. So the distance matters. So the arrows don't just shoot straight infinitely. You have to sometimes arc the arrow to worry about all of that. So now she's up. Hopefully she'll get a pretty good guard shot. She's trying to she dodged out of the way. And by dodging, now you can get a special attack if you pull it off the timing correctly. And you can do that with dodging, and you can do it with the shield. So there's perfect dodge or perfect guard. Actually got that encampment. And now we're going to head toward another bokoblin. Now you can even see in the distance up there, there's a shrine.
Right.
That's something you have to kind of worry about as well. And you don't know how to get there yet. You have to figure out how best to get up there. And what now she's going to do is a nice little bonus we have, the Wolf Link amiibo.
Yeah.
Which, if you play the Legend of Twilight Princess HD, you have the Wolf Link amiibo. You'll play it up, and any of the hearts that Wolf Link amiibo gains, when you scan it in here, you'll get that energy from that. So, well, not energy. You'll actually have a partner in the Wolf Link amiibo. The Wolf Link character is now joining you side by side to help you hunt, help you fight. Right now, this Wolf Link amiibo has 5 hearts because they played it up a little bit from Twilight Princess HD.
Yeah.
Now, if the Wolf Link amiibo dies, you lose him for the day, for a real day.
Okay.
So you have to wait another day before you can bring it up.
Well, speaking of like days and times, we do see a time.
Yes, there is a timer
in the bottom, on the map.
Yes, and that actually that's constantly happening, and elements of the game will change at night versus day. Like the certain enemies you'll see will change as well. The bokoblins will be sleeping more, so you actually can sneak up more easily on them as well. And the way it works, I believe, is there's essentially a minute represents an hour of time.
Okay.
So 24 minutes would be a full
Sure.
day. So here we found another hut, and she actually, she was breaking some pots from the classic people might remember as well.
Yeah.
And another cooking area. And actually now she's trying to explore over, oh, I think there's a camp. Oh, she's still just foraging.
Yeah, so like just from running around for this short amount of time, we've seen a lot of different terrain,
yes.
right?
Terrain's constantly changing, and now she's doing some more foraging. You can climb up almost anything. And what's over here right now is she's getting to a ridge. There's actually a chasm. She can't cross this chasm. So you could try to jump it. You probably would die. But what she did find when she was at that hut is she found an axe. So the environment is important to consider as well. She actually made her own bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, she get up there. There she goes.
Got it.
You do have to be careful, though. You do not want to fall.
I mean, if she did, where would she be put?
In the demo, you just come right back to where you're at.
Yeah.
Now she's going to try to sneak up on these bokoblins. And there goes the Wolf Link.
Does he act on his? Does the wolf act on his own, or
Acts
does you
on his
actually
own.
send them to attack?